Cantos 103 to 105 of Book 2 of the Ramayana of Valmiki, translated by Ralph T. H. Griffith. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Om123. Canto 103. The Funeral Libation. When Rama heard from Bharat each dark sorrow of his mournful speech, and tidings of his father dead, his spirits fell, his senses fled. For the sad words his brother spoke struck on him like a thunder-stroke, fierce as the bolt which Indra throws, the victor of his Daitya foes. Raising his arms in anguish, he, as when the woodman hews a tree, with its fair flowery branches crowned, fainted and fell upon the ground. Lord of the earth to earth he sank, helpless, as when a towering bank with sudden ruin buries deep an elephant who lay asleep. Then swift his wife and brothers flew, and water, weeping, over him threw. As slowly sense and strength he gained, fast from his eyes the tears he rained. And then in accents sad and weak, Kakutha's son began to speak, and mourning for the monarch dead, with righteous words to Bharat said, "What calls me home when he, alas, has gone the way which all must pass? Of him, the best of kings bereft, what guardian has Ayodhya left? How may I please his spirit, how delight the high-souled monarch now, who wept for me, and went above, by me ungraced with morning love? Ah, happy brothers, you have paid due offerings to his parting shade. Even when my banishment is over, back to my home I go no more, to look upon the widowed state, reft of a king, disconsolate. Even then, O tamer of the foe, if to Ayodhya's town I go, who will direct me as of old, now other walls our father hold? From whom, my brother, shall I hear those words which ever charmed mine ear, and filled my bosom with delight, whenever he saw me act aright?" Thus Rama spoke, then nearer came, and looking on his moon-bright dame, "Sita, the king is gone," he said, "and Lakshman, know thy sire is dead, and with the gods on high enrolled, this mournful news has Bharat told." He spoke, the noble youths with sighs rained down the torrents from their eyes, and then the brothers of the chief, with words of comfort, soothed his grief. Now to the king our sire, who swayed the earth, be due libations paid. Soon as the monarch's fate she knew, sharp pangs of grief smote Sita through, nor could she look upon her lord with eyes from which the torrents poured. And Rama strove with tender care to soothe the weeping dame's despair, and then with piercing word distressed, the mournful Lakshman thus addressed: "Brother, I pray thee bring for me the pressed fruit of the inguri, and a bark mantle fresh and new, that I may pay this offering due. First of the tree shall Sita go, next thou, and I the last, for so moves the funeral pomp of war." Sumantra of the noble mind, gentle and modest, meek and kind, who, follower of each princely youth, to Rama clung with constant truth, now with royal brother's aid the grief of Rama soothed and stayed, and lent his arm his lord to guide down to the river's holy side. That lovely stream the heroes found, with oaths that ever blossomed crowned, and there in bitter sorrow bent their footsteps down the fair descent. Then where the stream that swiftly flowed a pure pellucid shallow showed, the funeral drops they duly shed, and, "Father, this be thine," they said. But he, the Lord who ruled the land, filled from the stream his hollowed hand, and turning to the southern side, stretched out his arm, and weeping cried, "This sacred water, clear and pure, an offering which shall I and dear to thee, O Lord of kings, I give, accept it where the spirits live." Then, when the solemn rite was over, came Rama to the river shore, and offered, with his brother's aid, fresh tribute to his father's shade. With jujube fruit he mixed the seed of inguris from moisture freed, and placed it on a spot overspread with sacred grass and weeping, said, "Enjoy, great king, the cake which we, thy children, eat and offer thee, for never do blessed gods refuse to share the food which mortals use." Then Rama turned him to retrace the path that brought him to the place, and up the mountain's pleasant side, where lovely lawns lay fair, he hied. Soon as his cottage door he gained, his brothers to his breast he strained. From them and Sita in their wars, so loud the cry of weeping rose, that like the roar of lions round the mountain rolled the echoing sound, and Bharat's army shook with fear, the weeping of the chiefs to hear. "Bharat," the soldiers cried, "it is plain, his brother Rama meets again." And with these cries that round us ring, they sorrow for their sire, the king. Then, leaving car and wain behind, one eager thought in every mind, swift toward the weeping every man, as each could find a passage, ran. Some did abandon their eager course, with car and elephant and horse, and youthful captains on their feet, with longing sped their lord to meet. As though the new-come prince had been an exile for long years unseen, outbidden in their frantic cheer by clattering hoof and rumbling wheel, sent forth a deafening noise as loud as heaven when black with many a cloud, then with their consorts gathered near, wild elephants in sudden fear rushed to a distant wood and shed an order round them as they fled. And every sylvan thing that dwelt within those shades the terror felt, deer, lion, tiger, boar and roar, bison, wild cow and buffalo. And when the tumult wild they heard, with trembling pinions flew each bird, from tree, from thicket and from lake, swan, quail, curlew, crane and drake. With men the ground was overspread, with startled birds the sky overhead. Then on his sacrificial ground the sinless, glorious chief was found, loading with curses deep and loud the humpback and the queen, the crowd, whose cheeks were wet, whose eyes were dim, in fond affection ran to him. While the big tears their eyes bedewed, he looked upon the multitude, and then, as sire and mother do, his arms about his loved ones threw. Some to his feet with reverence pressed, some in his arms he strained, each friend with kindly words addressed, due share of honor gained. Then, by their mighty war overcome, the weeping heroes' cry filled like the roar of many a drum, hill, cavern, earth and sky. Canto 104. The Meeting with the Queens. Vasistha, with his soul athirst, to look again on Rama first, in line the royal widows placed, and then the way behind them traced. The ladies moving, faint and slow, saw the fair stream before them flow, and by the bank their steps were led, which the two brothers visited. Kaushalya, with her faded cheek and weeping eyes, began to speak, and thus in mournful tones addressed the Queen Sumitra and the rest. See, in the wood the banks descend, which the two orphan youths frequent, whose noble spirits never fall, the wars surround them reft of all. Thy son with love that never tires draws water hence which mine requires. This day for lowly toil unfit, his pious task thy son should quit. As on the long-eyed lady straight, on holy grass, whose points were laid, directed to the southern sky, the funeral offering made her eye. When Rama's humble gift she spied, thus to the queens Kaushalya cried, "The gift of Rama's hand behold, his tribute to the king high-souled, offered to him as text require, lord of Ikshaku's line, his sire. Not such I deem the funeral food of kings with godlike might endued. Can he who knew all pleasures, he who ruled the earth from sea to sea, the mighty lord of monarchs, feed on injuries extracted seed? In all the world there cannot be a war I win more sad to see, than that my glorious son should make his funeral gift of such a cake. The ancient text I oft have heard, This day is true in every word. Never do the blessed gods refuse to eat the food their children use. The ladies suited the weeping dame. To Rama's hermitage they came, and there the hero met their eyes, like a god fallen from the skies. Him joyless, reft of all, they viewed, and tears their mournful eyes bedewed. The truthful hero left his seat, and clasped the lady's lotus feet. And they with soft hands brushed away the dust that on his shoulders lay. Then Lakshman, when he saw each queen, with weeping eyes and troubled mien, near to the royal ladies drew, and paid them gentle reverence too. He, Dasarath's offspring, signed, the heir of bliss by fortune kind, received from every dame no less, each mark of love and tenderness. And Sita came and bent before the widows, while her eyes ran over, and pressed their feet with many a tear, they when they saw the lady dear. Pale, worn-out, dwelling in the wild, embraced her as a darling child. Daughter of a royal Janak, bride of Dasarath's son, they cried, how couldst thou, offspring of a king, endure this war and suffering in the wild forest, when I trace each sign of trouble on thy face? That lotus which the sun has dried, that lily by the tempest tried, that gold whereon the dust is spread, that moon whence all the light is fled, sorrow assails my heart, alas, as fire consumes the wood and grass. Then Rama, as she spoke distressed, the feet of Saint Vasistha pressed, touched them with reverential love, then near him took his seat. Thus Indra clasps in realms above the heavenly teacher's feet. Then with each counsellor and peer, Bharat of duteous mind, with citizens and captains near, sat humbly down behind. One with his hands to him upraised, in devotee's attire, Bharat upon his brother gazed, whose glory shone like fire. As when the pure Mahendra bends to the great Lord of life, among his noble crowd of friends this anxious thought was rife. What words to Raghu's son today will royal Bharat speak, whose heart has been so prompt to pay obeisance fond and meek? Then steadfast Rama, Lakshman wise, Bharat for truth renowned, shone like three fires that heavenward rise with holy priests around. Canto 105. Rama's Speech. A while they sat, its lip compressed, then Bharat thus his chief addressed. My mother here was made content, to me was given the government. This now, my lord, I yield to thee, enjoy it, from all trouble free. Like a great bridge of floods have rent, impetuous in their wild descent, all other hands but thine in vain would strive the burden to maintain. In vain the ass with steeds would vie, with Tarkasia birds that wings the sky. So, Lord of man, my power is slight to rival thine imperial might. Great joys his happy days attend, on whom the hopes of man depend. But wretched is the life he leads, who still the aid of others needs. And if the seed a man has sown, with care and kindly nurture grown, rear its huge trunk and spring in time, too bulky for a dwarf to climb, yet with perpetual blossom gay, no fruit upon the boughs display, never can that tree, thus nursed in vain, approval of the virtuous gain. The simile is meant to be applied, O mighty armed, to thee, because, our Lord and Leader, thou protectest not thy people now. O be the longing wish fulfilled of every chief of house and guild, to see again their sun-bright Lord, victorious to his realm restored. As thou returnest through the crowd, let roars of elephants be loud, and each fair woman lift her voice, and in her new-found king rejoice. The people all with longing moved, the words that Bharat spoke approved, and crowding near to Rama pressed, the hero with the same request. The steadfast Rama, when he viewed his glorious brother's mournful mood, with each ambitious thought controlled, thus the lamenting prince consoled. I cannot do the things I will, for Rama is but a mortal still. Fate with supreme, resistless law, this way and that its slave will draw. All gathered heaps must waste away, all lofty law and powers decay. Death is the end of life, and all, now firmly joined, apart must fall. One fear the ripened fruit must know, to fall upon the earth below. So every man who draws his breath must fear inevitable death. The pillared mansion, high, compact, must fall by time's strong hand attacked. So mortal man, the gradual prey of old and ruthless death, decay. The night that flies no more returns, Yamuna for the ocean yearns. Swift her impetuous waters flee, but roll not backward from the sea. The days and nights pass swiftly by, and steal our moments as they fly, even as the sun's unpitying rays drink up the floods in summer blaze. Then for thyself lament and live, for that of other men to grieve, for if thou go or if thou stay, thy life is shorter day by day. Death travels with us, death attends our steps until our journey ends. Death, when the traveller wins the goal, returns with the returning soul. The flowing hair grows white and thin, and wrinkles mark the altered skin. The ills of age man's strength assail. Ah, what can mortal power avail? Men joy to see the sun arise. They watch him set with joyful eyes, but never reflect, too blind to see how fast their own brief moments flee. With lovely change for ever new, the season's sweet return they view, nor think, with heedless hearts the while, that life's decay as seasons smile. As happily on the boundless main, meet drifting larks and part again, so wives and children, friends and gold, ours for a little time we hold. Soon by resistless laws of fate, to meet no more we separate. In all this changing world not one, the common lot of all can shun. Then why with useless tears deplore the dead whom tears can bring no more? As one might stand upon the way, and to a troop of travellers say, if ye allow it, sirs, I too will travel on the road with you. So why should mortal man lament, when on that path his feet are bent, which all men living needs must tread, where sire and ancestors have led? Life flies as torrents downward fall, speeding away without recall, so virtue should our thoughts engage, for bliss is mortal's heritage. By ceaseless care and honest zeal, for servants and for people's weal, by gifts, by duty nobly done, our glorious sire the skies has won. Our Lord the King, over earth who reigned, a blissful home in heaven has gained. By wealth in ample largesse spent, and many a rite magnificent, with constant joy from first to last, a long and noble life he passed. Praised by the good, no tears should dim our eyes, O brother dear, for him. His human body, worn and tried by length of days, he cast aside, and gained a godlike bliss to stray in Brahma's heavenly home for aye. For such the wise as we are, deep in Veda lore, should never weep. Those who are firm and ever wise spurn vain lament and idle sighs. Be self-possessed, thy grief restrain, go in that city dwell again. Return, O best of man, and be obedient to our sire's decree, while I with every care fulfill our holy father's righteous will, observing in the lonely wood his charge approved by all the good. Thus Rama of the lofty mind to Bharat spoke his righteous speech, by every argument designed obedience to his sire to teach. End of Cantos 103, 104 and 105.